Welcome to the Honest Hounds podcast, a place where we shine a spotlight on our wonderful members and their lives with their dogs. We'll be diving into the inspiring, the thought-provoking, and the sometimes emotional journeys that we go on with our four-legged friends. So sit back and relax and be inspired by the journeys that present in front of you. And if you need a community from anywhere in the world for you and your dog, we're absolutely here. We are back with another episode of the Honest Hounds podcast, and I will apologise in advance for sounding slightly like a frog today. I do have the post on the road sniffles, but this was too good an episode to rearrange. Someone that has such a kind of positive standing within the community, who has been involved in so many ways. So there's so much to dive into today. My first question, as always, is who are you and who is your dog?
So I am Nicola and my dog is Florence, the standard female Dachshund who's a little bit spicy.
I love the word. Yeah, she is nothing if standard is a word that we're describing her. And definitely a little bit spicy. So, I mean, there's going to be lots of people that are listening to this going, oh, I know Florence. Lots of people have met her within the community. But for those who don't know you guys, tell us a little bit about the origin story of Miss Florence.
Where to start? So I didn't have Florence as a puppy. I got Florence when she was 9 months old. So right at that point where hormones are starting to kick in and adolescence, really real testing time. And within a month of getting her, she had her first season. So it was very challenging and it was very interesting times because I thought I'd done a lot of research, like probably everybody says. I thought I knew what I was getting and how I was going to manage any training and any behaviour issues. And then I ended up with this spicy little Dachshund that had completely different ideas.
And was she spicy from day dot? So you got her from someone who had quite a few Dachshunds, didn't you? And was
I got her.
Home and oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got her from a breeder and I was actually on the list for a puppy with this breeder, who then she had a change in circumstances, so was no longer breeding. And some of the older ones that she was going to originally keep to have litters with were then rehomed, which is why I ended up with Florence. She was quite sweet, to be honest. The first week, she was quite sweet. She was very, very needy. She did not like, it was very clear that she'd been used to being in a busier household around more people, more dogs. And she really, really struggled. I think everybody kind of expects to have that unsettled first night or two when they first bring a dog or a puppy home. But we just kind of had that every single night. And the minute she went in her crate, she would just bark and cry and whinge and then start pawing at the crate and become quite destructive. And she was clear. I mean, I know now she was clearly very stressed. But obviously at the time I just thought she just didn't want to be in the crate and she just wanted to be with me. And the only way she would settle is if I either sat by the crate or slept on the sofa with the crate next to me. So that's what we did.
And how long did you endure sleeping on the sofa for?
Months.
Oh no, Nicola.
Months. I honestly felt like I had a newborn baby. She didn't really sleep. She wouldn't settle. And throughout the night, she would wake up in the night. And we got to a point where I could say, okay, Florence, it's fine. And she would sort of settle back down again because she'd know you were there. But yeah, my partner at the time, I think we used to swap. So I'd go up to bed about 5 o'clock in the morning and he'd come down and do a sofa shift for a couple of hours before we both started work.
Oh my goodness. And that must be so hard as well, because then you're not getting the right amount of sleep. She's not getting the right amount of sleep. But also, I think that the separation bit is such a tough one because you get that kind of emotional turmoil of, oh, she really needs me. And then I wonder if maybe then when you've got the dog stuff outside the house, it's then harder to kind of have those boundaries in place and be able to kind of say, excuse me, that's kind of not what we're doing here, because you're seeing that version of her where she is so unsettled and kind of constantly wants to be with you and not seeing the bigger picture of it.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to handle it, to be honest, because I think growing up we'd always had dogs in the house and we'd been used to the one, maybe 2 nights of unsettledness, a little bit of whinging, and then absolutely fine. And it was just like not what I was expecting, not what I thought was going to happen. I didn't really know how to deal with it. Swiftly Googled lots of resources, and didn't kind of really get much further forward with it. Eventually, it just took a lot of persevering, and eventually she did start to sleep through the night. But we got to a point where it would be sort of 5 o'clock in the morning and she would wake up. So you'd just get up super early. And then it was almost like something eventually switched kind of 6 months in. She was getting later and later, and she was getting a lot more settled in her crate, and would sleep. But I thought at one point, that's it. I'm never ever going to be able to have a lion ever again. That's me done.
No, that would have been absolutely traumatizing. No. You must have been super productive as a person though, with all these hours in your day. Or maybe just
Ah,
couldn't think straight.
I used to start work earlier because I was up anyway. And I was quite fortunate that at the time, it was kind of, I think it wasn't long after like all the COVID stuff. So obviously I was kind of still like mostly working from home as well, which was obviously really useful. Um, and it got to the point with her where, if I tried, we'd sort the night out, but then if I tried to leave the room in the daytime, then she didn't like that. So I made a lot of mistakes as well. Like, we always say, don't we? If I knew then what I know now.
Oh, hindsight, you lovely thing. And I think it's such an interesting one for you guys because you had the kind of separation bit, but you also had the other parts of the triangle, which was we had the dog stuff and then a little touch of the human stuff as well. So I do feel like you must have kind of been dealing with such a barrage of kind of complex emotions and not knowing where to go. So you've got little 9-month-old Florence who must have been absolutely giddy at that point. What did the next steps in your journey look like? Where do we go next?
Well, when I brought her home, the breeder said to me, don't take her out for the first week. She needs to settle at home and get to know you. So don't take her out. And then I'm faced with this little dog after a few days that quite clearly needs some exercise and an outlet and her needs met, which obviously I know all of this now, which was a massive mistake. But at the time I was a bit naive and I didn't. So the first sort of time we went out, she loved it. She wasn't a very neat walker on the lead, but she had a nice time. We bumped into a lady with a couple of dogs, and we didn't have any reactions, so we just kind of carried on. And I think it was only on the second time that I took her out for a walk, she then decided that every dog she saw, she needed to bark at, be very vocal at, pull on the lead, lunge on the lead. And I was a bit sort of didn't really know what to do because I'd never really experienced this kind of overreactivity before. I was aware that Dachsies could be a little bit like this from the research that I'd done. Um, and then I kind of started looking for trainers, and then opens up another minefield.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and then you've got that plethora of information pulling you from pillar to post. It's such a tough one because I kind of know where it goes next, and I don't think we need to dive into kind of names and things like that. But what did you try that didn't work? Because there's going to be a lot of people listening who have had similar things. Small dogs, especially Daxies, are kind of no. I think there's this half the planet is like, oh well, it's a small dog, therefore it will just be yappy, and that's the way it is. And then other half are obviously kind of wanting a little bit more for their small dogs, and actually they are mighty. I've obviously done 100 miles with a pack of Daxies. I know very well how capable they are, and she's certainly a strong-willed character. So, what did you try that didn't work for you guys?
So I didn't really know where to start, if I'm honest. So I just did a bit of a Google search to find like local trainers. Um, the first trainer that we had was very, she said she was like fearful, and that's why she was behaving like that. So we tried lots of positive rewards all the time. Like don't like avoid, don't put her in those situations, lots of space, and just like ignore what she does and just praise her when she's being good, which is great if you have moments where she's not lunging and barking at everything.
And also, then not understanding that the more she practices that behavior, the more you're going to get it. And so,
Yeah,
we then do for a dog that can't really exist in the world.
yeah. Our training journey has been a bit was definitely a bit up and down to start with. some of the trainers that we had weren't particularly reliable with sessions, which is not great when you need that and feel that you need that face to face and that support. And I think I was just looking for like somebody to tell me like, this is a plan. Like I think I expected to get a training plan and to follow a plan and to like build on little things and do things every week and have somebody to kind of check in with and have some support along the way. It's not my field of expertise. So and that's kind of not what I got.
So funny, isn't it? It's like you would expect that in fitness as well. It's not your expertise, because if you was, you wouldn't need to actually reach out to someone. So I do think it's an interesting industry to be in. And yeah, there's, I think as an owner that's been there as well, that overwhelm, and kind of try and use my lens now on the other side of it with the people that we support, is those moments in between sessions can feel like an eternity and like waiting to get back. And I think that's why the community bit is great as well, because obviously the trainers are super busy, so there are going to be moments where you're going to need that kind of time to get back to people. But having the community that you can kind of tag into and be like, did I just get a sanity check on this, or has anyone else kind of experienced this, I think makes all the difference when you're kind of waiting in that limbo state. It can be a tough old place to be.
Absolutely. And I think the community, just knowing that like everyone gets it, everybody understands. If they haven't been there, they certainly empathize with you. There's so many resources that you can have a look at that can keep you going and pop you back on track. I've certainly, it's just been a complete game changer for us, to be honest. But I know you asked about what else we'd done. One of the things we did was I sent Florence on a residential without me, which was in some ways, I suppose, like I'm not against like board and trains essentially, but I think they have their place. And I think as a human that didn't know and didn't have very good handling ability, it's all very well saying to somebody, can you kind of fix my dog? But actually it's you that's got to walk your dog every day, and it's you that's got to kind of keep up with that training plan. So there's a bit of a gap there. And I think that's what I love about the retreats that Honest Hounds do, is that we focus on the human and the dog, and you do it together.
And I think obviously, yeah, we've kind of been through different variations, and lots of the affiliates do the board and trains. But I think it's that handover bit, isn't it? It's going
Yeah.
away, and you've got that plan to carry it on. And obviously, one of the reasons that we have you guys coming up together is so that you can practice that and have the confidence to go. Doesn't matter what this scenario looks like or what the world throws at us. We've had that kind of intensive way to practice it and ask those questions and refine things. And it was actually fantastic. I mean, your retreat kind of sticks in my head so much as well, because she is such a sassy character. Like you cannot dispute it. I'm sure she's a lot to live with, but as someone that gets to kind of tap in and tap out, she's a lot of fun. And actually, she has got a personality that is like 5 times the size of her body, which is just fascinating to watch her kind of strutting her stuff and out in the world. But I think the moment that kind of sticks out with me is you kind of waiting for that engagement from her, and us all being like, it'll come soon, it'll be in a minute. And you kind of stand.
Oh yeah, the door challenge.
Tell me a little bit about what was going through your head, because it was such a
It was a bit like, I kind of knew she needed the toilet, but she's just so stubborn. She wouldn't even give me an inch so that we could move forward, because she was adamant she was doing her thing, and I was just so insignificant to her. That was the highlight. I was completely insignificant to her. She knew what she wanted to do, and she's a bit of a tester character, to say the least, and very strong-willed and stubborn. And I was just thinking, oh no, I've got the dog that just actually isn't going to do anything. Like, and part of me was like, I kind of wanted you guys to see that behavior as well, because if she'd come out and she'd been absolutely perfect, that's kind of wasn't going to help necessarily address the issues. But I absolutely know she can do it, because obviously pre-residential, we joined Honest Hounds, and we drove on from Devon to Yorkshire to come to a behaviour assessment with you guys, which quite honestly was one of the most amazing and well worth, the best thing kind of we've ever done, but at the same time quite stressful for both me and her, because emotionally for me, I'm seeing like my dog with all these behaviors that I just don't know what to do with and I don't know how to handle. And then there was snippets where we then stayed for the recall workshop with you guys, and like you and Jess seemed to be able to like turn her around to like show me exactly what she was capable of, and just that I held on to for such a long time, that I know she can do this and we can change things and we can make it better. It's just going to take a little bit of work and time.
And I think it's such an absolute testament to your character. I mean, there are not many people who are kind of so dedicated to continuing the journey as you are. And every time you kind of tag us in stuff or kind of see what you're up to, like, there is no limit to the kind of the energy that you'll put in. And I think she's so lucky to have you with that, because she's not an easy candidate. Like, we meet some dogs where you can kind of just do a couple of things, twist a couple of things, and then all of a sudden you like, they're like, yeah, I get it. I'm with the program. Whereas she's definitely kind of got a mind that needs a little bit more of convincing, and watching her in that doorway finally go, oh, I am gonna look at you now, and having everyone like, yes, that's it. I mean, it's so interesting to see, because we've obviously spent some time with you recently on tour and seeing you come along to all those workshops, and it's a completely different dynamic. Like, I know that we're not at kind of quote unquote the end yet, but seeing that change in her and her ability to want to do stuff with you, she'll come straight into a middle with you. She's checking in. Like, you're getting so much more of that partnership and that voluntary contact. And I think that's the bit that you can then build on, and everything else comes from there. Whereas if you haven't got the relationship, or it's not quite where you need it to be, it's so hard to kind of work with that and get people to see what's missing.
Yeah, definitely. She definitely needs, she's a tester character, and she definitely needs very clear boundaries, because she will check regularly. Is it still the same today?
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of still do a version of the reset rules, in that she's in her crate now, and that where when I'm working in the day, she has her uptime and she has her downtime, and when she has her downtime, she goes in her crate, and she's not allowed on the sofa, because if I give her an inch, she takes a mile. She pushes back.
It does, and it's not what she wants. Like, I think you can see that in her character. She's similar to Atlas in that sense. Like, I have two very different dogs, one that absolutely thrives with structure, and one that's like, oh, whatever, I can come and go as I please, and it's not a problem. And so I think there's kind of this, oh, how long will it be that he's in his crate, or is this forever? And it's like, yeah, it's probably forever, because it makes him happy. He likes that separation and that time. You've obviously realized sleep is such an important one for her as well. And so I think getting rid of that gray area for a lot of dogs and being like, this is the stuff. And you do so much with her. I mean, the sun work, the fields that you book, the walks that you go on. She's getting so much of that fulfillment. And I love that you're kind of tapping into the lure stuff and the sporty stuff that she loves now as well. It's amazing. And just being able to kind of have the confidence that that is what's right for her and for both of you, I think is such a powerful place, and such a further version from when you brought her home, kind of going, we've got all these problems and I don't know how to navigate them.
Yeah, I mean, the contrast for me now is I'm the one getting her up in the morning, so I get up and start work, and she doesn't move. Uh, so yeah, exactly. So my sister and my niece and nephew refer to her as the lazy doggy, because she sleeps quite a lot. And when they come to visit, she's been very settled in her crate and not particularly wanting to go out, because it's kind of the sort of the routine that we have, that after we've had a walk, she goes into her crate. And when I have visitors, when they come to stay, I make sure she's had her needs met, because then she will settle down and she's not bothered by them being in the house, which, that's a massive win for us. So I suppose, like, for me, it's all been about, and you've always said this to me, is about the 1% gains. So I kind of look at it like that, because we've got quite a long journey with Florence, I think, to go on. She's by far from perfect, and far from not being reactive towards other dogs. But from where she was in April when we came for our behaviour assessment, she's a million miles away
Oh, yeah.
from that. So it's just focusing on those little 1% and like building them up and building them up.
Well, and I think it's such a good one. I mean, obviously, we were just talking before we started to press record. You've had another Daxie staying with you this weekend, and I think if I'd said that to you when we first met on that behavioural assessment, oh, you'll be babysitting, like dog sitting another dog, and they'll be kicking about and playing, and you'd have probably been like, absolutely no way on earth. So
Yeah, exactly. We've done some great things. We've been to we went to Barn Hunt to see Ryan. So we had a little weekend away on our own. And then when we came to the fun day recently, we stayed in an Airbnb with Lucy, Mabel and Myrtle. So we had 3 Daxies in an Airbnb, which if you'd have told me 12 months ago that's what I would have been doing, I'd have said absolutely not. No way would I cope with that. Or she would. But we did. And we had all 3 of them off lead in the Airbnb together. Florence obviously muzzled for safety, you know, but she's quite comfortable wearing her muzzle, and they were fine. She had lovely massage from Lucy.
so cool. It's just amazing. It's an absolute transformation from where she's come, and it is such a testament to your hard work. And I think the first time that we met in Yorkshire, you kind of came outside after your session and you were like, I just like, I'm so dedicated. We will be wherever you need us to be. We will do whatever you need to do. And I think that you've so held true to that. I think that anyone that's met you or has spent time with the two of you is so clear of the work that you put in. So I guess my question is, how do you find the motivation for it? It is certainly no mean feat. You have a full-time job. You are balancing all the things. Where does that ability to kind of keep driving forward for her come from, and how do you stay on track?
I think definitely the behaviour assessment opened my eyes into what she was capable for. And I think everything from our first Zoom with Alex, one of the affiliated trainers, right up until like everything we still do now, everybody in the community has been so understanding, supportive. Um, I've met other people that have had similar issues, and I guess like everybody's working through things and you see everybody making progress. So that's obviously really motivating that it can be done and things can change. And we've kind of seen it with Florence. Okay, maybe not at the speed in it that everybody would want to go at. There's no quick fix, but we're doing it our way and we're kind of chipping away at it and getting those 1%. But I think I definitely like that initial, she can do this. She doesn't have to lunge at another dog. She can recall. She has that in her. I've just kind of got to teach her a little bit. Um, and I think like seeing her when she's like when we do the lure, for example, seeing how much she enjoys that, it makes kind of like her endorphins are up, my endorphins are up. I absolutely love doing that with her because I see the enjoyment that she gets from it. And I don't want my dog to kind of be rehomed or to kind of be euthanized because of a behaviour that can be changed.
Yeah, and I think it's such a time for it at the moment. There are so many dogs that are not getting that chance, and I feel like she's so lucky to have found her way onto your doorstep for that ability to go, yeah, do you know what? It's not necessarily going to be easy, but I feel like you've found that space now where you're such a team together, and it's so nice that you're getting the fun bits, and it's not just the behavior mod side of things, but you're getting to enjoy the lure stuff and the games and the scent work and the bits that you both enjoy as well. I think is so nice.
Yeah, she and actually when she's I think with Florence, once she's met a dog a few times and she's sort of got to know them a little bit, and the same with humans, she's almost like she does her bit of barking. She's getting a lot better. She's getting a lot better with humans, but she'll have a little bark at somebody, and then once she knows you, she goes from being not too sure, barking, to complete opposite, over friendly. She's excited to see you. She goes all wiggly. And that's like, I think certainly some of the affiliate trainers who we work with and we see on a regular basis, and Sam, who I share the Neutral Walk group with, that's part of her character that I just want to see more of. And you see bits of it and you just think, you've got this in you. You actually really do quite like people. You just like you have this stranger danger and you just kind of you need to realise that people aren't bad. And
Yeah, which I think she's doing more and more, and it's nice to see that. I mean, I see her less often, so I have those bigger kind of progressions that I'll spot, and yeah, really nice to just have a kind of loving massage with Sean and coming into those settings and being like, oh, it's fine, I can just hang out. It's cute.
again, who'd have thought it? She'd be having a massage, not only with like somebody that she's never met before, but a man as well, who again, she's always been slightly more triggered with men than women. So, and she was absolutely fine with him. She quite enjoyed it, I think.
It's so cool to see. Okay, but the other side of that is the one that I'm sure lots of people listening are going, that's great, but how on earth are you finding any time for yourself? And I feel like the other side of the coin is we get really good at doing more for our dogs and feeling more pressure to put more effort in and more energy. And I think that sometimes for a lot of us, we can kind of get to the point where ourselves take a real back burner and a backslide, and we're not really doing anything there. So, do you have any tips? Have you found the balance for putting in time for you as well? How do you make sure you're still carving a little bit of time out to not make everything about doing things for her?
So I don't think I've got the balance quite right yet, but it's a lot better than it was 12 months ago. So obviously, you're probably aware that when I met you 12 months ago, because she had been quite challenging, any activities I was doing, my running group, my yoga classes, I wasn't doing. It was all about her and, keeping the FOMO that she'd then developed at bay a little bit. Um, I guess like working on some of the things with her then allowed me to feel that I could and had that freedom to do some things for me. So I can go to my yoga class now with not a problem. She settles at home because I'm meeting her needs more. It's everything's linked, isn't it? So I have some really great friends that I've made through the community that I can balance that doing a walk with her, but also catching up with them. Um, I obviously have Sam who I can trust to look after her, so she can go. She's got somewhere to go, but so it means that like I can have some time for me if I want to go and do anything, or on the days that I have to go into the office and I'm not working from home, she goes to Sam and she has a lovely time because she prays to Frankie and Luna and she has a nice walk.
And I think it's that ability, isn't it, to be able to, you've gone from kind of isolated, I can't do anything if she's not by my side, which just makes everything so small, to actually there is the ability and the choice. And I think once you find that person, that it was the same with us, when you can actually leave them with someone and know that they're kind of safe and happy in that, there's such a difference in how you can then start to live your life. So yeah, I'm glad you found a bit of balance, because I do remember that version of you that was like, I just can't do anything ever if she's not tied to my side. And yeah, it's a tough place to be.
Yeah, our world is completely different now because we've got, whereas like you say, we were so very isolated. I remember saying that to you when I first joined Honest Hounds. It we just didn't she was so reactive. I didn't take her anywhere where I'd see anybody, and we just avoided everything. And I wouldn't walk with anybody else because it was too stressful for her. To now we're going on like group walks, and we've made lots of friends through the community. So it's it's just lovely. It is completely different now. I don't really know how else to describe it other than I feel like our whole lives have just done a 360, and we're just completely we are just completely different now. Um, I think knowing that for me, knowing that I've met her needs and allows me to then kind of meet mine and not feel guilty about that because I know she's settled. I know she's not. I know I'm not watching a camera and seeing a really stressed dog at the other end of it. I'm seeing a dog that's under a blanket, even on a hot day like today, still under a blanket asleep because that's what she does. She buries herself.
She loves to be cozy, no matter
She
the.
does like to be cozy, yes.
What do you think then on this crazy ride that you guys have been on? What is the biggest lesson that she's taught you along the way?
Probably how resilient I am and that I don't give up.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that is the understatement of said. Does that come out in other aspects of your life? I feel like you've really got like an ability to kind of just dig in and keep going. Is that you in a nutshell, or has it surprised you that you've kind of found that with her?
I think it surprised me how much work how much work I can put into her and how much I can find the time to do it. And I'm definitely a big advocate for, if your affiliate isn't on your doorstep, don't be afraid to travel because we've made it work, and we've kind of, by doing so, we've had the benefits, I guess. I think I never wanted to be one of these people that rehomed my dog. So I guess for me, it was all about, we need to try, because if we don't try, then there was no point really getting her. You kind of like, I always liken it to with people like, if you have a child that's got behavior issues or is not very well, you don't just give up, you keep going. And so I guess like that's what we've done. We've kind of like, we found now the kind of the training that fits us and the support that we need, and all the different things. Like, I mean, I didn't even know there was such a thing as barn hunt and lure workshops when I first got Florence, you know? So we've found different things, and I think, I don't know whether I'm like, I don't know whether I would say I'm massively resilient in other areas, but I think just certainly with her, I just didn't want to give up.
And you haven't. And it's just amazing to look. I wish we could take little snapshots from like monthly abilities to see where you guys have done and what you've been doing. What's the biggest highlight that you look back on over the last year and go, this, like, that just stands out as being like such a win for you guys?
I think like our retreat was really good. I really enjoyed our retreat, even though it was emotionally, it was quite hard going, especially initially, because she made some really poor choices the first couple of days, and then when you start to see that shift, and kind of, and also you as a human kind of go, oh, I can spot that behavior. I need to interrupt that, or like, and you kind of see her kind of going, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. I shouldn't do that. That kind of like, and then being able to be around like all of those dogs, all of those people, and just kind of trotting along next to me. That's kind of, it's moments like that when you kind of go, it's worth it, and she can do it, and I can do it. And it just, I think it just makes you even more determined, even on days when, because we all have them, we all have days where you go, oh, that was awful. I think now I just kind of, I see it as learning rather than failure. And definitely, like, we've just kind of like, we turn things around, like, and it's, if she has a reaction, actually, what could I do better next time? What did I miss something? Rather than, oh no, she's had a reaction, it's awful.
And I think the ability to kind of keep that learning in mind is, it's not easy. It's certainly a journey, but to get to the point where you can be like, do you know what? Things are going to happen. Life is going to life. But if we can see it as learning and the ability to grow, such a cool place to be in, because then you're kind of focused on that empowerment and how the two of you are working together rather than kind of like dreading the next interaction. And I guess that's what I would wish for everyone, is actually being able to move out of where you were before, where you're like, we'll just do less and less because, oh no, what if we see a reaction? Which is, yeah, absolutely the right choice to make if you're not sure what to do. But it's that, what are you doing to get the answers to them, get to that point that you can go, right, these are safe spaces. There's the ability to put her in all these situations and give her the chance to make some really good choices, but also give her the chance to fail as well, and help her through that in a way that the two of you are kind of working together. And I think that seeing that shift, like you say, to the dog that came out on the last day, just being like, just trotting out with my human and you're good fun and we can do this stuff together, is such a nice shift to see. And then seeing you build on that as we've gone is awesome. But yeah, I think it's so easy to stay in the avoidance and the management and the hiding away if you're not sure.
Yeah, we used to use a lot of secure fields, just because it was obviously a lot less stressful for me. And Florence, Her recall still, to be fair, isn't great. She's got quite a high prey drive, and we're not quite at the point where we can trust her to make the good decisions when she needs to all the time. But I have a really good long line, and you master using your long line better so she can still have a bit of freedom. We still do go to secure fields, but maybe once every couple of weeks now, more as a nice outlet for her, or to work on something specific, or to just have a bit of fun and just have a really chilled walk and enjoy. Like, a lot of them have like really good agility equipment in, which she loves doing. So they have a different purpose for us now than when we first started using them, which is really nice.
I wish you'd been able to. What you should have done is put all that money away that you used on the secure fields. You should have squirreled it away and bought yourself, I don't know, a spa day or something.
Or a camper van.
A camper van. How is the camper van dream coming on? Are we any further?
No, we're not any further forward, but we now know that that's what we would really like. So, and again, if you'd asked me this 12 months ago, I would have said, no, that's not for me.
I think that's so nice, isn't it? It's the possibility. And actually, like, I can't wait to follow along with the Instagram that you'll inevitably have of Florence's little camper van travels. But how nice that you're in a position that you can start kind of seeing that as a fun opportunity rather than like, oh my goodness, why would we do that? That feels horrible.
We walk in so many lovely places. I mean, we're really lucky that we've got some great walks on our doorstep. And there's places that we avoided, and we avoided for a long, long time. And, I'm not saying that we would choose to go on a Saturday in the middle of the afternoon when they're absolutely heaving, but we don't avoid them anymore. We like there's definitely there's a lovely country park right on our doorstep about 10 minutes away. And up until probably 9 months ago, I don't think I'd ever been there because I didn't want to go there because it was off lead dogs and it was busy. And we've kind of conquered our fear of that now. And it's actually one of our favourite places to walk because, it's lovely open fields, there's plenty of space. And I kind of look at it now and I'm like, I don't know why I was so worried about walking here because it's actually really nice and she enjoys it. So it's it is completely, our lives are completely different now.
And so the camper van is maybe a distant dream, but what are you guys looking forward to in the near future as you continue on the journey?
Oh, we've got a couple of courses on Honest Hounds that we really want to get our teeth into. Definitely, we've been inspired to do the conditioned relaxation course. It's been on our list for a little while, but when you're working on lots of things, I definitely now kind of look at things and go one step at a time. And actually, it's there, we can do it, but it's maybe not one it was for right now. But certainly after the fun day and seeing how some of the dogs settled during the talks, yeah, we're really keen to do that. And I think it will also help with our vet visits as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
That's a good one, especially for that. And I think it's such a good point because there is a lot of information on the community. And I know that some people will be like, I don't know where to begin, but you've kind of hit the nail on the head, like seeing I kind of when we think about how it is and how people use it, being able to kind of dip into bits as and when it's right for you and you're not going, we need to do everything now is such a good one. And so you've got so many great foundations now, and now being able to take that to the next level with the touch stuff, which is obviously something that she'd found hard in the past, and then go, how can we combine this and make it a positive and then bring it into the vet or bring it into strangers working with her, I think is such a great one that'll just keep building on the version of her that she is now. That's very cool.
yeah, and obviously we did all of the workshops when you came south recently. That wasn't quite the plan initially, but I'm so glad that we did in the end because we took something from all of them, and for us, they're a really good reset because we're only human. Sometimes we forget things. We don't take maybe everything in all in one go. We get sloppy with things, and it's really good to kind of take a step back and refocus. And sometimes you think you're doing something, but actually you're not. And just those little tweaks can make a massive difference to your partnership with your dog. And then the kind of the effect that has on everything else is really nice to see.
What was the biggest thing you took away from coming along?
I think for me, how I forget to praise Florence enough. So I very much because she's so reactive, I very much focus on don't do this, and if she's going to react. Whereas I don't think I was quite advocating quite enough for her and praising her early enough when she did something right. And I've certainly found, like on the couple of walks that we've been testing it on, giving her that verbal praise and sometimes a food reward as well is she kind of like she does like that, and it does work. Whereas I just wasn't doing that before
I
so
think we get
much. So
hyper vigilant, don't we, for we need to spot it before it spills over, but actually being able to spot it and still be able to go, yay, loving that when you're not doing it. Because although it looks like you're rewarding maybe not very much, what you're rewarding is her ability to go, I'm keeping my cool, this is great. And then especially for her, because she is very online in those moments. We've not gone to like, oh, I'm offline and I'm just reacting because that's what I do now. She's very kind of cognizant and able to work with you there, if maybe sometimes a little bit not willing. And so the more that you capture that and give her that, yeah, I'm loving that she's really like a little like, oh yeah, I did good. That's really good. So yeah, I think that'll be a big part of the puzzle, and they'll come along nicely with all the other bits that you've been doing to kind of tap into her breed needs. But yeah,
yeah, it's nice at one of the workshops where she kind of came in and just sort of went, oh, you're a different dog, because she'd kind of gone, we're doing this today, and the engagement was just great with her. And when I think you then brought the puppy in and then said to me, drop the lead, I still did that, oh, I'm not sure about this. And I need to give her that opportunity and know that I can interrupt her and bring her back. And actually, she made some really good choices. And I need to remember, I do need to remember to praise her when she does those.
rather than going, what we often find people doing is like holding their breath and going, what if she does something silly now? And it's like, yeah, but we've still got to capture the good bit.
Yeah,
Right.
she's funny. She's a funny little thing.
So the cracker. And we will have to share some videos because she just cracks you up with everything that she does. She's a sassy little thing, but she's too cute. I always like to throw a quick fire round your way. So I'm going to throw some questions at you. Don't think about them too much. Just hit me with whatever comes out of your mouth. So my first question is, what is your favorite thing about Miss Florence?
Her sassiness, even though it's hard work, it's personality, isn't it? She's definitely got plenty of fat.
Yeah, she is small but mighty in only a way that she knows. What is her favorite thing to do?
Definitely law. She absolutely loves the law workshops and the chase of that.
That's cool. And your favorite training item? So this can be anything that you find is really helpful on your journey with her.
Oh, probably food for her, because she's very food motivated. So I can use it in lots of different ways. So I can use it as a reward for her, but I can also use it with a bit of play with her if I scatter it, or if we have like a ready command, because she won't quite play with a toy yet on walks, but I can say ready and throw some food and she'll chase the food.
Yeah, it's so versatile for her, isn't it? And great
Yeah.
kind of drive that you've built with her for that. Okay, so when it comes to dog ownership, we all have different superpowers. So in your journey with Florence, what has been your superpower that's really stood out for you?
Oh, it's got to be resilience and motivation, surely, with her.
I was like, I already know the answer to this one. Super motivator. We'll have to get you some Mr. Motivator clothes. That'd be great. One thing you wish you'd known from day one of bringing Florence home.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
So many. Meet her needs, I think. Because there's lots of things we always talk about this, don't we, on Honest Hounds, about, taking a puppy with you, not taking them, letting them see the world and experience things. And, there's so many different things I could have done, so many things I could have done differently with her. And using certainly we still do now. Alex said to us on our very first Zoom to do some scent work with her at home. And I still do that now with some of her food, because she absolutely loves it. And things that you wouldn't think tire her out or meet her needs. Like they're brilliant, and it doesn't take, you don't need a lot of equipment to do it.
Yeah, super effective. And my final question is one thing that you'd say, and I know you say a lot of things to a lot of people because you're obviously one of our super users and one of our new. So you're saying lots of stuff often. But if we had to distill it down, one thing you'd say to someone who is still struggling on their journey.
Keep going. You've got this. It will get better.
Mic drop. Nicola, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey with my favourite little sass pot. I cannot wait to see where you guys continue a year from now and then beyond.